The Church of Lagos was a beacon of faith, its bell tower a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. But beneath the surface, a battle raged, a battle not of sword and shields, but of truth and deception. In the bustling city of Lagos, where their streets hummed with life and the air buzzed with the spirit of enterprise, there stood a church unlike any other. It was a magnificent structure, its spires reaching for the heavens as if in silent prayer. This was the domain of Pastor Chijioke, a man whose reputation was as colossal as his physique. The pastor's voice boomed across the congregation, a deep resonant sound that seemed to vibrate the very soul. "My beloved," he began, his arms spread wide, "we are gathered here today to celebrate the glory of our Creator, to share in the abundance of His blessings." The people listened, enraptured by His presence. They believed in Him, in the miracle He performed. They brought the sick, and the pastor, with a mere touch, a prayer, would heal them. Or so it seemed. "Brother Emeka," Pastor Chijioke called out, "you have been suffering from pain in your legs, have you not?" Emeka, a middle-aged man with worry lines etched deep into his brow, nodded. "Yes, Pastor, I have not been able to walk without pain of months." "Come forward," the pastor beckoned. As Emeka hooked up the azo, the congregation murmured prayers. Pastor Chijioke laid his hands upon Emeka's head, and a lush fell over the crowd. Moments later, Emeka straightened, a look of wonder on his face. He walked back to his seat, unaided, his steps sure and strong. The church erupted in applause. Praises sung to the heavens. They believed, oh, how they believed, in the pastor's divine power. But little did they know the true source of his miracles was shrouded in darkness. The pastor's guardians were a sight to behold. Towering men, each one sculpted as if from very rock of the earth. They stood vigilant, their eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of threat to their leader. Among them was Obinna, a man whose heart was as big as his biceps. He watched over the floor with a protective gaze. But it was Ngozi who truly captured his attention. Her quiet strength, her unwavering resolves, it stirred something within him, a feeling he dared not name. Obinna knew his duty was to the pastor, but as he watched Ngozi move through the crowd, her eyes always observing, always questioning, he couldn't help but wonder what secret she held. Ngozi's eyes held the depth of the ocean, a misty grid that seemed to see beyond the surface. She knew the truth of Pastor Chijioke's power, the dark magic that coursed through his veins. She had seen him in the dead of night, his form shifting, contorting into the shapes of the wild. She had vowed to expose him, to bring his reign of deceit to an end. But she was patient, for she knew the danger that lay in haste. She would watch and wait, and when the time was right, she would strike. The members of the church clung to anything touching by the pastor, his handkerchiefs, his robes, even the very spot where he stood to preach. They believed these things held the power to heal, to bring the fortunes, to protect. "See these clothes," a woman named Adora showed her friend a piece of fabric she had snatched from the pastor's robe. "My son was ill, and I placed this upon his brow. The fever broke by morning. It is a miracle." The people needed something to believe in, and the Pastor Chijioke provided that. But at what cost? Rumors swinged like leaves in the harmattan. Why had the pastor never taken a wife? Such a man, blessed by God, surely he would seek a companion to share in his holy work. But Ngozi knew the answer. She had seen the beast within him level in its solitude, its freedom. She knew that to marry would be too risky to expose him, and the pastor would never allow that. As she moved among the congregation, her ears picked up the whispers, the questions. She knew she was not alone in her suspicions. It was only a matter of time before the truth would come to light. This is the beginning of a tale that will take us deep into the heart of Lagos. Please guys, make sure you subscribe, share. We are going to be bringing massive, as in beautiful stories. Please share, subscribe to our channel. Let's continue. The night was Pastor Chijioke's sanctuary, a time when the world slumbered, unaware of the transformation that took place within the walls of his opponent's home. As the moon climbed high, casting silver beams through the stained glass windows, the pastor's laughter filled the air, a sound that should have been joyful, yet carried an edge of something wild, something premier. In the privacy of his chambers, the laughter grew louder, more exuberant, and then, with a suddenness that befouled nature, his features began to shift, his face elongated, his skin sprouted forth, and where once stood a man, now stood a lion, majestic and terrifying in its splendor. The lion paced its tail, flicking with impatience. It was a creature of power, of command, but also of solitude. For who could share in the life of a man who was not always a man? Who could lie beside a beast and not tremble with fear? Pastor Chijioke, even in his feline form, pondered this. The loneliness glared at him, a reminder of the price of his dark gift. Yet, he revealed in the freedom it brought. The strength, the fear, the inspirations, it was a double-edged sword, one he wielded with skill and precision. Obinna stood guard outside the pastor's door, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. He had seen the changes in Pastor Chijioke's and the moment of odd behavior, the flashes of something often than human in his eyes. But duty bound him, and fear shackled his tongue. His heart, however, was another matter. It belongs to Ngozi, the misty-eyed enigma who seemed to move through the church like a spirit. He watched her from afar, admiration growing with each passing day. But love in the time of secret was a perilous thing. Obinna knew that his feelings for Ngozi could compromise his position, could make him vulnerable. Yet, what is a warrior without a cause, without a heart to guide his blade? Ngozi's past was a tapestry of shadows and light. She had been born with the gift of sight, the ability to see beyond the veil that separated the mundane from the mystical. It was a gift passed down through the generations, a legacy of her lineage. Her grandmother had been the first to tell her of the pastor, of the darkness that clung to him like a shroud. She had warned Ngozi of the danger, but also of the responsibility that came with the gift. You must be the light. Her grandma had said, for where there is light, darkness cannot hide. And so Ngozi had watched, her eyes even open, ever searching for the truth. She had seen this pastor's transformations, witnessed the beast beneath the man, and she knew that her destiny was intertwined with his, for better or for worse. The church was more than a building. It was a community, a family. The members found solace within its walls, comfort in the rituals and ceremonies that marked the passage of time. They believed in the pastor, in the miracle he performed, in the relics he bestowed upon them. Handkerchiefs, robes, even the dust from his shoes, they were cherished, held up as conduct of divine power. This cloth healed my child, they would say, or this dust brought me fortune. Their faith was tangled, woven into the very fabric of their lives. But faith, when built upon a foundation of lies, is a fragile thing. Ngozi knew this, and she feared for the day when the truth would shatter the illusions that held the community together. She knew the revelation would come at a cost, but the price of silence was far greater. The air was heavy with the scent of rain, the sky dark with the promise of a storm. Lagos seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the deluge that would cleanse the streets, wash away the gleam of the day. Ngozi felt the storm within her, a tempest of resolve and fear. She had gathered her courage, collected the evidence she needed to expose the pastor. The time was drawing near, the moment when she would step into the light and reveal the darkness for all to see. She moved through the church, her steps silent, her gaze steady. The congregation was oblivious to the storm that approached, to the lightning that would soon strike at the heart of their faith. But Ngozi was ready. She had to be, for the truth was a force of nature, and like the storm that loomed on the horizon, it could not be denied. Make a comment. Let's see whether you're enjoying this story. Let's continue, guys. The Church of Lagos was a beacon of faith, its bell tower a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. But beneath the surface, a battle raged, a battle not of sword and shield, but of truth and deception. Ngozi moved through the congregation, her misty eyes reflecting the flickering candlelight. She carried with her an ancient artifact, a relic from her grandmother that held the power to reveal the hidden. It was a small, unassuming piece, but within it pulsed the light of truth. As Pastor Chijioke delivered his sermon, his voice rolling over the powers like thunder, Ngozi's fingers tightened around the artifact. She could feel its power, a resilient woman at home against her skin. She knew the time was near, but she also knew he was not alone in the knowledge. There were others, shadowy figures who watched from the corners of the church, their eyes sharp and calculating. They were the pastor's true guardians, not the muzzle-born warriors that stood at the doors, but the keepers of all secrets. They sensed a change in the air, a disturbance in the fabric of their carefully woven tapestry of lies. Ngozi could feel their gaze, heavy upon her. She had to be careful, for if they discovered her intentions, all would be lost. The battle was not just against the pastor, but against the darkness that surrounded him. A darkness that would stop at nothing to maintain its hold on the heart of the faithful. Pastor Chijioke stood at the pulpit, his robes flowing around him like the robes of a king. He spoke of love and charity, of the virtues of the soul, but behind the mask of pity, they locked a beast, a creature of night and shadow. The congregation saw only the mask, only the holy man who led them in prayer and worship. They saw the miracles he performed, the healings, the blessings. They did not see the flicker of something else in his eyes. The belief moment when the mask slipped and the predator within peered out. Ngozi saw it though. She saw the truth behind the fake, and as she listened to the pastor's words, she knew that the mask was cracking, that the beast was growing restless. It was only a matter of time before it broke free, and the true battle would begin. Obinna stood at his post, his eyes never straying from the pastor. He was a warrior, sworn to protect, but his heart was a tumor. He had seen the looks Ngozi gave the pastor, the suspicion in her eyes. He had seen the artifact she clutched like a talisman. He knew he had a choice to make, a choice between duty and love, between the man he had sworn to protect and the woman who had his heart. It was a choice that could cost him everything. But as he watched Ngozi, her resolve as clear as the daylight, he knew what he must do. The warrior's heart was not just for battle, but for love. and Obinna would follow his heart no matter where it led him. The evening service was drawing to a close. The congregation reasoned to sing the final hymn. Their voices rose in harmony, a song of faith and hope. But Ngozi did not sing. Instead, she stepped forward, her hand raised, the antiphat shining in her palm. The light burst forth, a brilliant, blinding flash that filled the church. It was the light of truth, and it shone upon Pastor Chijioke, revealing the beast within him. The congregation gasped, their song federing as they witnessed the transformation. The pastor roared, a sound of fury and fear, as the light stripped away the mask of petty. The beast was revealed, and the truth was laid bare for all to see. Chaos ensued as the congregation recoiled in horror. The pastor, now fully exposed, lashed out his form, shifting, changing before their very eyes. The lion, the panther, the creatures of the night, they were all him, all part of the darkness he wielded. But Ngozi stood firm, her voice cutting through the pandemonium. Behold the man you have followed, she cried. See him for what he is, truly is today. The roar of revelation echoed through the church, a sound that would change everything. The battle for truth had been fought, and the light had won, but the war was far from over. The story of Pastor Chijioke and Ngozi continued to unfold, each chapter bringing new revelations. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this massive story. The revelation of Pastor Chijioke through nature sent shockwaves through the congregation. The church, once a sanctuary of peace and worship, became ground zero of confusion and fear. The faithful, who had once looked to the pastor as a guiding light, now saw him as a shadow that had deceived them all. In the midst of this chaos, Ngozi's voice was a beacon of calm. Fear not, she implored, her eyes sweeping over the stern faces before her. The truth may wound us, but it also heals. We have been born by lies, but now we are free to seek a path of true faith. The congregation was torn. Some wept, their illusions shattered, while others whispered prayers of thanks for the unmasking of the beast. The tears that had bound them to Pastor Chijioke were fraying, giving way to a new understanding, a new beginning. Obinna, his heart heavy with the weight of his decision, stood by Ngozi. His choice had been made. He had forsaken his duty to the pastor to stand with the woman he loved, to protect her as she revealed the darkness that had lurked among them. The news of Obinna's love for Ngozi spread like wildfire, igniting a scandal that rocked the church to its core. The warrior, who once been the pastor's shield, was now the defender of the truth, the protector of the one who had dared to challenge the darkness. Their love was a testament to the power of human heart, to its capacity for change and courage. Obinna's loyalty to Ngozi was unwavering, his resolve as solid as the earth beneath their feet. Together they faced the congregation, their hands clasped, their spirits united. We stand before you not as warrior and seer, but as man and woman, Obinna declared. Our love is our strength, and with it we will build a new faith, one rooted in truth and light. The confrontation between Ngozi and Pastor Chijioke was inevitable. The church had become a battleground, a place where the forces of light and darkness collided with the fury of tempest. Ngozi, armed with the antiphat and the truth, faced the pastor, her gaze unflinching. Your reign of deception ends today, she proclaimed. The people of Lagos will no longer be your pawns. Pastor Chijioke, his form flinking between man and beast, roared in defiance. I am the chosen one, he bellowed. My power is divine. But Ngozi was resolute. Your power is nothing but a shadow, she countered. and shadows wither in the light. The battle raged, the pastor's dark powers clashing with the light of the antiphats. The congregation watched, their heart pounding as the struggle unfolded before them. With a final desperate roar, Pastor Chijioke lunged at Ngozi. His claws bared, but the light was too strong, the truth too bright. It enveloped him, consumed him, and with a shattering cry, the beast was no more. The pastor fell, his form now that of a mere man, broken and defeated. The lion, the symbol of his power, had fallen, and with it, the darkness that had held the church in its grip. The sun rose over Lagos, its rays piercing the remnants of the night. The church, once a place of secrets and lies, now stood as a beacon of hope, of a future forged in the light of truth. Ngozi and Obinna emerged from the church. Their faces aligned with the promise of a new beginning. The congregation gathered around them, their eyes bright with the possibilities of what lay ahead. "We will rebuild," Ngozi declared, her voice ringing clear and true, not just the words of the church, but the faith of its people. "Together we will walk a path of truth, and in that truth we will find our salvation." The people cheered, their spirit lifted by the dawn of a new day. The ties that had once bound them to a false prophet were now the bonds of a community united in truth and love. And so the story of Pastor Chijioke and the misty-eyed Ngozi came to a close, not with the roar of a lion, but with the song of a people reborn.